UNC2891, the ATM hack using Raspberry Pi and CAKETAP Rootkit. Imagine walking up to an ATM, expecting to withdraw your hard-earned cash, only to find out that a team of cybercriminals has infiltrated the bank's network using a tiny 4G-enabled Raspberry Pi. That's the chilling reality of UNC2891, a financially motivated threat actor that has been targeting automatic teller machine ATM infrastructure with unprecedented stealth. This group, known for their covert operations, has been observed using a 4G-equipped Raspberry Pi to breach ATM networks, a method that showcases both technical prowess and physical access to bank premises. Group IB, a leading cybersecurity firm, reported that the attackers managed to install the Raspberry Pi directly on the same network switch as the ATM, effectively embedding themselves within the bank's network. How they gained physical access remains a mystery. The Raspberry Pi was armed with a 4G modem, allowing the attackers to remotely access the ATM network from afar, a setup that bypassed traditional perimeter defenses. Using a backdoor called Tiny Shell, the attackers established a command and control C2 channel through a dynamic DNS domain. This enabled them to maintain continuous access to the ATM network, completely evading network defenses. UNC2891 first came to light in March 2022, when Google-owned Mandiant documented the group's activities, linking them to ATM switching networks and unauthorized cash withdrawals. The group's modus operandi involves a sophisticated kernel-modular rootkit called CAKETAP, designed to hide network connections, processes, and files, as well as intercept and spoof card and PIN verification messages from hardware security modules, HSMs, enabling financial fraud. Interestingly, the hacking crew appears to share tactical similarities with another threat actor known as UNC2945, which has previously compromised managed service providers and targeted the financial and professional consulting industries. Group IB's analysis revealed backdoors named LightDM on the victim's network monitoring server, designed to establish active connections to the Raspberry Pi and the internal mail server. The attackers' use of bind mounts to hide the presence of the backdoor from process listings is a particularly concerning development. This technique allows them to evade detection and maintain a persistent foothold within the network. The ultimate goal of the infection is to deploy the CAKETAP Rootkit on the ATM switching server and facilitate fraudulent cash withdrawals. However, the campaign was disrupted before any serious damage could be done. Even after the Raspberry Pi was discovered and removed, the attackers maintained internal access through a backdoor on the mail server, leveraging a dynamic DNS domain for command and control. This incident raises thought-provoking questions about the evolving nature of cybercrime and the vulnerabilities of our financial systems. How can we better secure ATMs against such sophisticated attacks? And what role do we play as individuals in safeguarding our financial data? Share your thoughts and concerns in the comments below. To stay informed about the latest developments in cybersecurity, follow us on Google News, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Bank ATM hacked with Raspberry Pi, novel anti-forensic technique revealed. Imagine the shock when a bank becomes the target of a cutting-edge ATM attack that combined physical tampering with innovative anti-forensic techniques. Researchers at Group IB uncovered an attempted cyber heist perpetrated by the financially driven group UNC2891, a team known for targeting banking infrastructure since at least November 2017. But here's where it gets controversial. Instead of relying solely on remote digital attacks, the criminals physically reached an ATM, embedding a Raspberry Pi with a 4G modem into the machine. Once installed, they exploited a backdoor known as Tiny Shell to establish a command and control C2 channel through a dynamic DNS domain, which allowed them to sidestep conventional network defenses like firewalls. And this is the part most people miss, because the rogue device was connected to the same network switch as the ATM itself. The attackers gained access to the bank's internal network. They were then able to set up an additional backdoor on the bank's mail server. Network forensics eventually revealed unusual outbound beaconing and repeated connection attempts, but no matching process IDs, PIDs, were found during initial investigations, leaving experts puzzled. To unravel the mystery, Group IB investigators captured a memory dump that led them to identify a hidden malicious process. Cleverly disguised as the legitimate LightDM display manager and named LightDM, the process was found in an odd location that exposed its true malevolent nature. Further analysis revealed that UNC2891 had suppressed the visibility of its backdoor PIDs by employing a previously unreported anti-forensic approach involving Linux bind mounts. In a twist that could ignite debate among cybersecurity experts, this method of hiding process artifacts has now been incorporated into the MITRE ATTCK framework as T1564.013. Hide artifacts, bind mounts. To explain further for those new to the subject, attackers achieved this by binding an empty folder or file to the exact directory location of a process's entry in the /proc file system on Unix-like systems. This clever technique complicates detection as it obscures activities that are typically monitored by conventional forensics tools. The ultimate aim of UNC2891 was even more alarming. They planned to deploy a CAKETAP Rootkit designed to manipulate responses from hardware security modules, HSMs, and falsify authorization checks, thereby facilitating fraudulent cash withdrawals. Fortunately, the heist was foiled before any unauthorized transactions could occur. This incident sharply illustrates the evolving threat posed by physical access vulnerabilities and the challenges that modern forensics tools face when encountering sophisticated anti-detection methods like malicious bind mounts. Security experts strongly recommend that organizations vigilantly monitor system calls such as mount and umount, set alerts for any /proc/PID mounts to temporary storage locations, e.g. TMPFS, and scrutinize binaries launched from directories like /TMP or .snapd. In addition, financial institutions would benefit greatly from ensuring that ATM-connected infrastructure, such as network switch ports, is physically secured to prevent tampering. Incident responders are also advised to capture both memory and disk images during investigations to better identify any concealed processes. What do you think about this blend of physical and digital intrusion techniques? Do you see this as a sign of future trends in cyber attacks or just an isolated case of over-engineering by criminals? Feel free to share your thoughts and join the discussion in the comments below. Exposing the 4G Raspberry Pi bank heist. How hackers almost pulled off the perfect ATM scam. In a shocking revelation, the hacking group known as UNC2891, or Light Basin, has demonstrated a bold and sophisticated approach to cybercrime by embedding a 4G-enabled Raspberry Pi within a bank's network. This audacious move was part of a failed attempt to execute an ATM heist, but it highlights a growing trend in advanced hybrid attacks that combine both physical and remote access methods. The hackers ingeniously connected the single-board computer directly to the ATM network switch, effectively creating a hidden pathway into the bank's internal systems. This setup allowed them to navigate laterally through the network and install backdoors, which are malicious tools that enable continued access even after initial breaches are discovered. According to an investigation by Group IB, which uncovered this intrusion while probing suspicious network activities, the primary objective, although Light Basin did not succeed in this instance, The incident serves as a rare example of a complex attack that employed various anti-forensics techniques to remain undetected. Lightbasin has gained notoriety for targeting banking systems, as highlighted in a 2022 report by Mandiant. This report introduced a new Unix kernel rootkit named CAKETAP, specifically designed to operate on Oracle Solaris systems, commonly used in the financial sector. CAKETAP is particularly dangerous because it can manipulate responses from payment hardware security modules, HSMs, allowing the hackers to authorize fraudulent transactions that would typically be blocked by the bank's security measures. Active since 2016, Lightbasin has also made significant inroads into telecommunications systems, successfully breaching numerous global telecom networks. They have utilized the TinyShell open-source backdoor to facilitate the movement of traffic between networks and route it through specific mobile stations, showcasing their versatility and expertise in cyber operations. In this latest incident, it is believed that Lightbasin either gained physical access to a bank branch themselves or bribed an insider to assist them. This insider reputedly helped install the Raspberry Pi with a 4G modem on the same network switch as the ATM, which was crucial for the attack's success. The device's ability to connect to the internet allowed the attackers to maintain a persistent remote connection to the bank's internal network, effectively bypassing perimeter firewalls that are typically in place to protect sensitive data. The Raspberry Pi served as a host for the TinyShell backdoor, which the attackers used to establish an outbound command and control C2 channel via mobile data. As the attack progressed, the hackers moved laterally to the network monitoring server, which had extensive connectivity to the bank's data center. This strategic pivot allowed them to access the mail server, which had direct internet access, ensuring that they could maintain their foothold in the network, even if the Raspberry Pi was discovered and removed. To further conceal their activities, the backdoors used for lateral movement were cleverly named LightDM, mimicking the legitimate LightDM display manager found on Linux systems. This tactic made the malicious processes appear innocuous, thereby reducing the likelihood of detection. Another key aspect of the attack's stealth was Lightbasin's use of alternative file systems, such as TNPFS and ext4, to obscure the metadata of the malicious processes from forensic tools. This clever maneuver made it significantly more challenging for security. Group IB's investigation revealed that the network monitoring server was communicating with the Raspberry Pi every 600 seconds on port 929, indicating that the device was acting as a pivot host for the attackers. Ultimately, the hackers aimed to deploy the CAKETAP Rootkit, but their plans were thwarted before they could come to fruition. This incident raises critical questions about the security measures in place at financial institutions and the lengths to which hackers will go to exploit vulnerabilities. As cyber threats continue to evolve, how can banks and other organizations better protect themselves against such sophisticated attacks? What steps should be taken to ensure that insider threats are mitigated? We invite you to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below.